Live now. Welcome to New Realities. I'm Alan Steinfeld, and this program is an ongoing series of finding people who I have to say are awake and ascending. And that's why we have this group tonight, who are the Awakening Ascending family. And Bridget is my connection in there. They're big on Clubhouse. So Bridget Holiday, why don't you introduce everyone and tell us what the purpose of the Clubhouse group is and how it's grown and influenced so many people.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bridget Renee Holiday. This is Awake and Ascending with Alan Steinfeld.
Right.
So a little bit about me. I guess I'll start with my introduction and then move around to everybody.
Yes.
I am a starseed channel, multidimensional medium, and a galactic peace ambassador. Really, it's a galactic unity ambassador, but peace is something everybody understands. So that's why I say peace. But so basically what I do in the world is I assist with the ascension, right? And this is the label that we've given this monumental period in humanity's evolution and consciousness that we are all here for, right? That experience. And I've been communicating with a collective of beings from birth. The collective began an initiated conversation with angelics and high guides and my high self. And as I grew and had different experiences within my life, different groups within my collective began to introduce themselves, such as the Ascended Masters and Elementals. And then as an adult, I had 2 contact experiences with 2 very different beings over a period of like 1 and then 3 hours later, another one. And that activated my starseed. Well, that was my starseed activation, really. So then an entire really large group within my collective that I only knew as beings of light began to introduce themselves to me like, hey, this is what my face looks like. This is what I look like if I were showing you a headshot from the chest up, or, you know, this is my full body. And so it's been a wild ride with lots and lots of things. And Awake and Ascending, the club that we're in, we are really a unity consciousness based club. And what that means is we are high vibratory. We hold and create spaces within Clubhouse, which is a drop-in audio only app. And we hold very high vibratory spaces. We call them rooms on Clubhouse, where we have conversations from everything, you know, about ascension to star seeds to, you know, spiritual mentoring. And we really help normalize the conversations around interdimensional, extra-dimensional, ultra-dimensional, and extraterrestrial beings. But we talk about pretty much everything. And what makes Awake and Ascending so amazing are not only these 5 beautiful people that are up here with me, but also all of you that come and add your codes and frequencies and your wisdom and knowledge to everyone that's in that room. And as we all know, those conversations ripple out into the collective far beyond our own individual conversations. So
Yes.
with that, oh, thanks, Alan.
Well,
with that, go ahead.
I'm just wondering, how did everyone find each other? I mean, did you start the club, Bridget, and then other people said, I just want to be part of that? Or, well, everyone can.
No, so I was on a social media hiatus.
Yeah.
And I had signed up for Clubhouse, I don't know, 2 months before or a month before, and I'd forgotten all about it. And then I received a message like a couple days before this night that I'm about to tell the story of, and that I was on it, and I was like, no social media, I need a break. So from there, I was sitting outside at night, and my soul team, which is what I call the collective of beings that everybody has, that are here to guide and assist us, they were like, get on Clubhouse. And I was like, what? No. And they were like, get on Clubhouse. We have a 3 thing that we do with each other. If they say it 3 times, on the 3rd time, I have to stop what I'm doing. If it's like a 2nd time, that it's make a note of it. And if it's the 1st, then it's like, we're done with it. It's not that important. So they said it again. So I get on this app that I've never seen anything about. And I'm scrolling, and they're like, go into this room. And I'm like, looking at it, and I'm reading this name with a little greenhouse next to it, and it was spiritual, comma, not religious. And then I see something underneath of it, and it was like something about life after death or something. And I was like, well, I have lots of experience with that kind of stuff, so maybe I could talk about this. So I go in the room, and it had been going for 18 hours, and it was amazing. And I was deathly afraid of speaking in public. Luckily, my team was very insistent about me getting up. I mean, I scrolled and scrolled, and the people just never, they never stopped. It was like hundreds of people in that room, and I was freaking out. So my team's like, raise your hand. And I'm like, no. And of course, when you can imagine 2 more times. So finally I raised my hand, and then I take it off. And then I raised my hand and took it off. And on like the third or fourth time, Scotty Oceano, who I now know is the creator of that club, pulled me up. And I was like, oh crap, now I really actually have to talk. And so I'm like thinking, of what I wanted to say. I get up there and I talk, and I'm nervous. My voice is shivering. I'm like shaking. And then I couldn't figure out how to get myself off stage. Luckily, I did talk that time and another time, because that's how I met Sonia and Brittany. They were both in that room, and we actually followed that from that room into a smaller club, because the guys that had created that room in this big club called Spiritual Not Religious had a small club. So we went in there, and that's where we met Nimesh. And then Brittany and Nimesh and I were hanging out pretty, nonstop. Sonia was popping in and out. She's kind of a butterfly. And so she was popping in and out. But every time Nimesh would come in, Brittany and I would be like, Nimesh! And we'd be like his cheerleaders, because he's amazing. And that's how the three of us bonded. And then Sonia was popping in and out. And then she went to go do some Ascension work in, the real world, right? Not that this isn't real world, but outside of Clubhouse. And she kind of disappeared for a little bit. And so
also a
Brittany
Sagittarius, so that counts too.
Yes, as am I. Yeah, we got the Sag energy flowing for sure. So from there, Brittany and Nimesh, I was thinking about starting a club, but I was kind of scared, to be real honest. And if they hadn't been like, yes, let's do it, I probably wouldn't have done it. Right? At least not then. And Nimesh was like, and then after we started it, we were doing some little like pop-up rooms, which means we didn't schedule them, for those of you that don't know anything about Clubhouse. And Nimesh was insistent, as was Brittany, about scheduling rooms. And it was one of the best things that we could have done. Then Sonia came back, and then Denton is actually my friend from Texas from before I moved. So then Denton popped in, and I'm like, hey, why don't you join our club as an admin? And then Faye and we were connecting with Faye from like day one. She was with us in these tiny little rooms where it was like 5 of us. And we were having the most magical conversations. So Faye has actually been in the Awaken and Ascending family since before we started the club, and definitely in those first rooms all the way up. And when her life rearranged a bit and she decided she's ready to step out and up, then it was only natural for all of us to just bring her on in. She's been a huge supporter of us, part of the family from all along.
That's great. I get a good kind of overview of how that happened. So why doesn't other people jump in and talk about like why this is so important? Faye, did you want to say something? Like why?
You can introduce yourself too. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Hi. Thanks for having us, Alan.
Of course.
Goodness. Well, I mean, Bridget said a lot. There's not really much more to say behind that.
But what's your angle on it? How do you fit into the whole thing? Like, how do you?
Well, besides just my awakening journey, it was just like the right timing. So I too, like Bridget, when I first got on Clubhouse, it was just like a friend invited me on the Clubhouse. Just for something that was completely unrelated to what I'm doing now. And I had a little nudge because I was like, I'm not going to do this. I don't want to learn a new social media platform. And I got like this internal nudge that was like, go on Clubhouse. And then from there, it was just like type in extraterrestrial. And I was just listening to that and I was following it. And it led me to Bridget's room, but it also led me to Roderick Martin's room. And his was actually the first club that I went into. And it was an active club. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is my lane. Like, look at all these people, because I had an experience, which catapulted me into my awakening. And I hadn't shared it with many people. So I was feeling really kind of alone. I didn't have many people to talk to about it. And then I stumbled across this room where people are like openly discussing it. So then I found Bridget's room, Nimesh and Brittany's room as well, Awaken Ascending, not too long afterwards. And then it was just like a slam dunk. I was like, oh my gosh, this is home. So for me, it was just something that was just really comfortable. I needed in the moment because I didn't have a support system. Like, I didn't have anybody that I could talk to about it. I felt like I was going crazy, and just being in these spaces completely normalized it. So hopefully,
what were you going crazy about? What was it that was, what was the thing that was happening for you?
Well, do you want me to tell you a little bit about my story, my awakening story?
Sure. I mean,
okay,
yeah.
Well, I know that you know personally, Alan.
I do.
But my daughter, I have a toddler, and I noticed that she had these markings on her arm that was really strange. I thought that she had gotten injured at daycare. So I was going to bring it up to daycare, and I forgot about it. I actually ended up watching this documentary with Dolores Cannon, and she spoke about people who had been abducted. I don't really like calling it abduction. I just say being taken. Right. But for lack of better words, abducted. And sometimes they have these markings on them when they're returned. And I was like, oh my goodness, what if my baby was being taken? Like, how did I not know this? Like, so it sent me down this rabbit hole, but wanting to know more about it. Now, I've always been really connected spiritually. Like, I've always been really tapped in, but I did not have a circle of people. It was more like just watching documentaries and just having this inner knowing, but not necessarily like I had this crew of people who was more of a support system. So I started doing all this research, as much as I could, just watching different documentaries and trying to read books. And I had an experience. So I was at work, and this beautiful sphere appeared on this building right adjacent from my job. And I was like, am I going crazy? Like, is anyone else seeing this? It was broad daylight, right? So it stayed there for a few minutes. I stared right at it, but I was getting this sense that it was telling me, like, look at me, see me. And I was like, I see this, but I think I'm going crazy. Well, I left my office, I came back, it was gone. So, and then I ended up having a migraine. So I attribute it to, it was just a migraine. So a couple of months later, it reappeared. This time I was on vacation with my family, and it showed up while I was sleeping, and it was hovering like right above the bed. Now, it was this beautiful pulsating kind of sphere, very like a purple kind of lavender, lilac-y kind of sphere. And I put my hand up to go and touch it. And right when I did that, my body was like overcome with fear. And I don't know why I wasn't afraid, but it was just like this panic. It was almost like the energetic level was vibrating too strongly for me. So my body reacted like when you are in that flight or fight mode. And then I just held on to that experience. Like, I didn't have anybody to talk to. And I was like, okay, people are going to think I'm bananas, but people already know that I'm a little different. I'm weird. I'm okay with being weird, right? I don't go with the grain. But I was like, I didn't have anyone to talk to about it. Eventually, I talked to my wife about it, and she was just like, you know what? If that's your experience, I believe you. And I confided in 2 other friends who was like, you know what? Like, we know you, we know your truth. Like, we know that you're credible. Like, we know that you wouldn't lie about something like this. And the other friend shared with me that she also had an experience. So, it just kind of pushed me out a little bit more, but this force was almost like, it was setting the stage for me, right? It wasn't like I had to do a lot of work. It just kept directing me. It was like I was divinely guided into these spaces. I ended up getting a hypnosis. I had a hypnosis session. And within that session, my guides told me a lot of stuff. They told me that my daughter actually is my sister, my cosmic sister, and that she was sent here to wake me up, which actually fits the timeline. They also say that she was taken. They took her. just to make sure that her body can sustain the mission here. They said that I have been asleep for too long and that I need to wake up. Like, it's time for me to get to my mission and remember the reason that I chose to be here. They gave me a lot of other vital information too. And part of that was not being afraid, to stop doubting myself, to step into my power, to step into my truth. And also to know that my purpose. So what I bring to the group, I am a love bearer. I am a keeper of light. I help to bridge gaps between this 3D world and higher dimensions through love. And what I found and what I was taught to or told is that I possess a gift, the gift of love. And I was like, how is that a gift? But they say it is a gift that you possess and you need to see it as a gift. So I've been, I was grappling with it a bit, like, how do I teach people how to love? But then I had to step back and said, you know what? I've been doing this my entire life. I can bring people together. I hold space for people. It's natural with the work that I was doing. I was in law enforcement. I also had a history. My education is in clinical and counseling psychology. So I've been doing this my entire life, you know, and it only is fitting that this is what I signed on to do. So hopefully in that long-winded roundabout way, I explained how I got onto this journey, and then also, you know, what I bring to my collective group of admins here in Awaken Ascending. So thank you, Alan.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, Bridget, who else should we, I mean, everyone, but just, who do
Let's
you
go,
want?
Brittany. Let's
Yes,
do
Brittany.
Britt next. Britt, tell us about yourself and what you bring into the world and Awaken Ascending. And hi, we
Well,
love you.
Hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So I always struggle answering this because I feel like there's so much, but yet, okay. Anyways, I'll kind of start with my process. I have been awake my entire life. Like, I can't not ever remember being intuitive, being now what I know is star-seeded, all of that good stuff. I had an NDE at a very, very young age. I remember dying, and very intense. So I feel like that moment actually is what really kind of woke me up. So yeah, you know, I've been doing all sorts of fun stuff by myself, and I so badly craved a community. I wanted a community of people who were like me, because nobody I knew. I couldn't talk to my family about it. The times I did, they're like crazy. You know, I would see beings come out of a portal next to my closet when I was 5 years old, waking up in the middle of the night, and I'd go and tell my parents, and they're like, "Nah, you don't have monsters under the bed," kind of a thing. So, you know, I just so badly craved community. So that's why I'm so thankful that I was able to find all my lovely mods in Awaken Ascending, and that we created our own thing, because I just feel it is so important to let people feel seen and heard and appreciated and loved. And that's something that I bring to the table. I am a crazy manifester, and I like to say I'm also like a self-love generator. I know Faye was mentioning that too. I think that's why Faye and I get along so well, or I just feel really connected with her, because I just have known my entire life from just this beam of love. So, you know, when she was saying, well, how do you do that? What do you do with that? And honestly, what I realized is just being myself and listening and making sure that people don't go unnoticed, because this can be really scary for people, this whole process, or it can just feel really like unknown. Like, what am I doing? So my favorite thing is really just helping people know that it's okay. And I do intuitive energy healing. So I am Reiki certified. I also do beyond quantum healing hypnosis. And I actually am currently pregnant with a little starseed baby. So I am really excited, because I am going to create a little community for parents who are raising little like starseed light worker children, intuitive children. So yeah, you know, that's not something I had. So I'm like, the least I can do is just give back. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Beautiful. That is
Yeah.
great. Next generation. Great.
Yeah.
What about you, Sonia? Yes.
Oh my
thank you,
goodness. I
Brittany.
thought we were going to do Nimesh first and then.
Oh, go ahead. Whatever you
No,
want.
no, it's fine.
You just looked like you wanted to say something, but no, it's whatever. That's whoever.
No, I
wants
can
to
go.
talk.
I can go. Thanks, Alan.
Right.
So it's interesting. So I grew up in an Asian household, and part of the culture is that there's a lot of paranormal activity. And so I grew up with that. And you pray to the gods, you pray to the Buddhas, you pray to your ancestors. And then you also pray to the demons so that they don't come and bother you. This was part of my upbringing. Now, I grew up seeing things, but I never understood it. And my parents, my grandparents, we all talked about it, but nobody else had that experience of being able to see anything. And so when this started to happen over and over again, I just kind of, brushed it under the rug and pretended like it wasn't a big deal, because it wasn't a big deal. Nobody was talking about it, or they were talking about it in a way that they couldn't acknowledge it through their own eyes. And so, that was how I grew up. Now, my dad, when he was with us, he liked to talk about UFOs a lot. And I remember back in the day, like they'd have these exposés about the Greys and this UFO that they had found. And we would always get together and record it, and we would watch it, and we'd always, talk and discuss what was going on. And I always thought, how fascinating is it that there are these extraterrestrial beings out there and we don't really know the truth. Now, I do a lot of deductive thinking. I'm a problem solver. This is what I do for work. I'm a business consultant. And so I thought, okay, well, if I can see what people don't see, and if there is UFO phenomena out there, maybe I could talk to them. Like, what would happen if I could talk to them? So I started doing that, and I would have these dialogues, and I would realize that I was having conversations, but I had nobody to bounce off of whether this was accurate or not. So a lot of my contact experiences were, case study 1 of 1, Sonia communicating or channeling, and I didn't know what was going on. So now, I have been, experiencing all of this my entire life, but I didn't know how to, put it to good use. Like I said, I had a very strong corporate career, and I always dabbled in channeling. I had learned how to communicate with spirit guides. I had learned how to work with energy. I'm a pranic healer. I'm a Reiki master. Just being able to see into the other side and being able to communicate was a really, really big deal. But I didn't know what to do with it because it didn't feel compelling enough, right? Doing this kind of work on your own can be very lonely, especially if you are one of one. And I felt that most of my life. And I would meet people who are healers, but maybe our frequencies just didn't match. It just different. So it was last year, maybe 2 years ago, a friend had said, "Hey, Sonia, there's this app called Clubhouse. Like, you have to get it." And I'm like, "No, I don't need another social media platform. I have enough." And she kept saying it. And I just said, no, I had so much resistance around it. And in March of 2021, a friend came over and we were talking, and he had this most obnoxious sound coming from his phone. And I was like, "What are you doing? Like, can you turn the radio down?" And he goes, "Sonia, it's not the radio. This is Clubhouse. Like, listen, I'm talking to people around the world." And I thought, well, why would I want to do that? It sounds really boring and it sounds really obnoxious. And he goes, no, let me show you. And he showed me that there were rooms and clubs specifically around spirituality, around paranormal activity, around UFOs, like all of these topics that I like to talk about, but have nobody to converse with. And so when he left, I became hooked on Clubhouse. And yes, I did meet Bridget right away. I thought she was like a shiny new friend. And I didn't know what to do with it, but I was like, Bridget is different. Like, she gets it. She knows what I'm talking about, and everything that I have experienced in like the last 3 decades is real, down to the conversation that I had with a particular ET race. And it just gave me so much confidence and so much validation that I knew that there was something here. And so I became hooked. And when Bridget had mentioned that I, went offline and went to do something else, what happened was I had met another person on Clubhouse, and she and I became fast friends. And we had talked about doing like energetic work. And she says, well, Sonia, why don't you come out to Florida and let's host a workshop? And I thought, oh my gosh, like, okay, yes, I've never met this person before. I'm going to go to Florida. We're going to figure it out. We're going to host a workshop. I'm going to do my chakra healing. We're going to connect to the other side, and she's going to do hypnosis. We did that like just randomly, and it turned out to be a huge success. And of course, like all of that work turned me upside down. It was just so much energy. It took me maybe 2 or 3 weeks after I got home to finally feel settled back in my own body. And that is why, I came in a little bit late to Awaken Ascending, but Bridget, you had always said that I was going to be a part of it. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? But, the way that I see this is being of service is really, really important. And like I had said, in my upbringing, I didn't know how to incorporate my gifts. I didn't know how to serve. I've started a nonprofit animal rescue, and I thought that was good enough. I was placing happiness in people's homes. That was philosophy. And then I always thought, okay, well, my next nonprofit's going to be working with kids. But, I didn't have the bandwidth to do that. And then, Awaken Ascending happened. And I thought, okay, well, I can't do a nonprofit for kids, but what I can do is teach. I can teach meditation. I can teach mindfulness. I can teach people how to be back in their own bodies, and also how to communicate with the other side. And if you want to push it to that next level, I can also, with, my co-moderators and my family right here, teach everyone how to connect and communicate and remember where we come from. We all come from the same place. The question is, do you remember that we all come from the same place? And that's why it's so powerful that Awaken Ascending, we're able to create this container for this unity consciousness to attract people in and to start having these conversations. And so that's my take on it. But thank you, Alan.
Thank you. Beautiful. Everybody's been really beautiful. Okay, Nimesh, good to meet you. Yes.
Hi, Alan. Thank you for this opportunity.
Paging Dr. Akash. Paging
Dr.
Dr.
Akash.
It's an inside joke. You have to explain why now.
Sure. So I read Akashic records. That's kind of my way to connect to people's souls, people's light. I'm a big believer that everything we need is inside us. So I, as part of one of the rooms, I opened the records for the room, and because I read Akashic records, the team, my fellow admins, have affectionately called me Dr. Akash. And Bridget has this great voice of introducing me. She's she just, I feel like I'm in hospital. She has that perfect voice. But so my background was a little different. I born into an Indian family. Lots of us I've got 4 brothers, 4 sisters, and we grew up as as a Hindu, we believe in reincarnation. There's a lot of things that is very fluid. But I didn't know I was a starseed at the time. I didn't really feel like I belonged anywhere, but I didn't really have a voice. But I knew, because we grew up in quite a poor environment, that I was determined to be successful in the corporate world. So I started in the corporate world, doing really well. And then all of a sudden, a friend at the time was jealous of my success and did a little bit of a black magic ceremony, which I didn't know existed at the time. But when I came out of it, I was out of work for 2 years, struggling. But when I came out of it, I was helped, I was guided. I knew that I was missing out on something. I knew there was so much more around me. And that's when I went on this spiritual journey. But then I went looked for people to fix me. I need fixing. Over time, I realized I didn't need fixing. And I realized that everything that I needed was in me. I started working with a spiritual teacher, coach, and mentor, who really helped me understand that my destiny is to guide people to their destiny. My purpose is really anyone I connect with to leave them better than I found them. But she left this realm. She passed away in a fire just as lockdown hit. But she's the one I kept hearing as a guide to learn how to read Akashic records. So from there, I learned how to read Akashic records. And honestly, I only learned it for me. I wanted to connect to my guides. I wanted to know what my guides wanted to tell me. I wanted to know what the records helped me. But it was such a beautiful process that I started sharing and doing for others. But then over time, I realized really, when growing up, I didn't have a voice. But now I feel my voice is my gift. So hence, I kept getting the message, I need to use my voice to heal. So I started a podcast. Then early last year, I got a message, I need to be seen. So I started going live weekly on social media. But there's still something missing. I didn't have a community to really talk to in detail about what I'm going through, because I had some friends, I had some people that kind of sort of understood, but I didn't have a community. And I found Clubhouse and I went on it for a bit. I thought, yeah, maybe. And it was only when I met Bridget and Brittany, and every time I saw them in the room, they were honestly like my cheerleaders. They obviously felt my soul. They obviously felt something about me. And they were, I call them my cheerleaders because every time I came in, they were super excited. If it wasn't for them, I don't think I would have stayed on Clubhouse. I think I would have, I would have just moved on to something else. But yeah, it was such a beautiful experience. And now we've created this beautiful family. So I'd be forever grateful for this. And now we have lots of rooms. Like I said, I open the records for everyone in a room once a month and things like that. We just do so many beautiful things, and I just love it. And learning how to read Akashic records allows me to connect to people's souls, and doing it in a room like we do, again, allows me to connect to everybody in the room. It's such a beautiful experience. So I'm forever grateful for this family. They're amazing. So, and Alan, thank you for the opportunity to talk.
Well, it's great. Everyone has their own unique gifts and everyone contributes to this collective. So Denton, it's up to you. What do you want to share?
Uh-oh, I hope I can rise to the occasion, Alan. Thanks so much for having us. So I started like meditating and doing shamanic journeys. I had a mentor when I was like 13, 14, 15, and I was really into it, reading books and soaking everything I could up like a sponge. And then I kind of went to sleep and spent a good part of my time like hiding from myself. I was in the closet, and so I was hiding from like my gay self and my spiritual side, and came out later in my 20s, and then kind of had a compressed coming out and like discovering who I was and what it was like to be single and out and me. And then in spring of 2020, I started working from home like a lot of us and getting back into meditating, and felt the spiritual call. And then in May of 2020, I had like a crazy spiritual experience.
What was that? What actually happened? If you want to share.
Sure. I started hearing a voice, and then it was kind of like a physical merger, and I was up half the night, and it told me lots of things about myself that just like no one else would know. And it was basically like spirit grabbed me by the back of the neck and shook me, and it was like, it's time to wake up and get to doing what you're here to do. So I've just been a spiritual seeker, reawakened spiritual seeker ever since. And then I had, like Bridget mentioned, met her in real life in Texas through a mutual friend. And last spring, my mom passed away of Alzheimer's, and I was her caretaker, and I was mourning. My partner, who's an empath, was like, hey, Clubhouse is amazing. You should really get on it. And I was resistant at first, and I finally did. And then I was falling into high vibe rooms where I found this community beyond like the close circle that I had, that I could actually like share my experiences and have high vibe discussions. And ran into Bridget in a room, and she reached out and she was like, hey, you should really come check out Awake and Ascending. And I did. And then after a couple of rooms, she asked me to become a moderator. So I do that. I've always felt the need to give back and provide service. You know, I volunteer for an LGBT profit, but I'm also, what I bring to the table is not only am I a bringer of light, but I mean, we're all children of the earth, but I'm like the earth child of the group. Bridget calls me the earth star seed. So yeah, that's, and we're just so all happy to be here. And
Great. Wow. So how many times a week do you guys meet?
We hold rooms every Monday and Friday at 4:30 Pacific. I think it's 6:30 for Denton in Central Time, 7:30 Eastern, 12:30 a.m. for the UK, which is where Namesh is. But we've started to test out like a Wednesday afternoon room to see how that's going to go. We'll let you guys know in the next one.
But talk about the like evolution of the conversation. You know, it's not just like this is a great introduction, but let's go deep into awake and ascending. Like what's happening right now on the planet for all of us to awaken us. And I think there's a lot of people, including myself, dealing with personal stuff, like the personal issues, like used to be great. We're all here. We're all ascending together. And then it's like, whoops, got to look at this stuff, got to look at that. And that's my process. You agree, Brittany? You're shaking your head.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, okay.
Just because what I've noticed is, especially, oh gosh, like the past 6 months, there's so many people waking up or having these experiences where they're like, I have no clue what to do right now. I feel crazy. I don't like to use that word, but you know, it's like, who can I talk to? And I think for us with Awake and Ascending, the more that we have people like that come to our rooms and join our community, because I feel that they're meant to be there with us. You know, we are all teachers and we all are really good at what we do. And I feel that the more people that come online and the more people that are able to find us, the more comfort there will be and the more normal it will be to be able to have these conversations. I mean, I feel like it's happening so quick. I love it. It's amazing. It makes me feel good. I'm sure it makes everyone else here feel awesome too. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree, Britt. I agree. So I feel like I almost said this is Bridget speaking. That's something we do on Clubhouse, you guys. Did you do it too? So I feel like we are, you know, it's normal right now. Like people talk about, you know, awakening, right? And for the way I perceive it is that awakening is really just we have like a lot of slumbering aspects within our consciousness because that's the experience we've come in with, but it's really just bringing more of our soul light into a particular aspect of our consciousness. And then consciousness expansion happens repeatedly over and over and over within that aspect, right? So people often talk about 3D versus 5D and, you know, wanting to hold a fifth dimensional frequency. Well, we hold all of the dimensions within us. So it's really just remembering how to exist within that frequency, and we oscillate all the time. So, you know, dipping back into third, there's nothing wrong with the third dimension, though there are a lot of things within the third dimension collective constructs that won't serve us going forward. They don't serve us as individuals, and they're definitely not going to serve us as a collective. And we can't take some of that with us. It's just not compatible with the fifth dimensional frequency. Alan, what did you want to say? I heard you.
Well, I just want to say that Ascension seemed so easy about 20 years ago when it was just coming online and people were talking about it. And now it's like, oh, yeah, I mean, that's been my process. Is that true for you, Sonia? Are you like floating through it?
I am definitely not floating through it. If anyone here in the moderator panel knows, I have been losing my mind just by transmuting and deprogramming a lot of the fundamental ancestral, genetic, spiritual beliefs that no longer serve us. Just, culturally, where I come from in an Asian household, and now I live in Southern California, there's a really big disconnect with how people are being raised. I'm very fortunate to have been raised in different countries and been able to see different backgrounds. And I'm at this point where I can consciously choose to deprogram aspects that are holding me back from my own authenticity. And I think that's what a lot of people are struggling with. What is my authentic, true nature? Who am I on a soul level, right? And it's painful because there's a lot of conditioning that happens in a household from your parents, your grandparents, from your school, your education, maybe your work environment. Again, I come from a corporate background. For me I have to separate my corporate background with my spiritual background because they think I'm loony. But this is real, like this is life. And reconciling all of this is very, very painful because it's tearing down aspects of yourself and replacing it with something new. It's kind of like shaking yourself up like a box, and then turning it upside down, putting all of the contents on the floor like a jigsaw puzzle. And you look at each piece and you say, does this one stay? Nope, throw it away. And you're like, no, but I don't want to throw it away. I've had it for so long. And then you do the next one. It's painful. It's very painful. And I think that the more people like us, right, who are ascending into this frequency can support one another, the stronger and easier it gets. It is definitely not an easy process. Just last week, Sonia had a come to Jesus moment, and it was very, very vulnerable. It was horrifying from my part because I had to really confront a lot of deep things. But if it wasn't for my family here, I would have just said, I'm done. Like, I'm just going to go back to my normal self. I'm going to go to the mall. No, not the mall. I'm going to go whatever. I'm going to go shopping. Like, I'm just going to do what normal people do, and I'm not going to meditate. But I remember the Awaken Ascending is a mission to support others. And if I can't be supported, then what business do I have supporting others? So anyways, that's my roundabout way of saying this is not easy, and I'm glad we're all here.
Yes, I'm glad we're all here. Faye, how's your process going?
Well, it's something that you mentioned, Alan. You said 20 years ago, I feel like everyone was doing this. And I feel the opposite.
Right.
I feel that it was so taboo 20
Right.
years ago, right? No one was talking about it. And I think that is what where I struggled too with my ascension process is because I didn't have anyone to confide in. I didn't have a community. Now it's like, it's everywhere, right? Like, you don't need to go too far. Like, you can go down to your local crystal shop and you can make a community there. You can hop on IG or Facebook. It's a community there. You get on Instagram. It's a huge community. And I think that a lot of paradigms are shifting and people are doing a lot of shadow work. So my thing is, I am huge about doing shadow work. Like, in order for us to be able to ascend and to vibrate higher, like, you have to shed a lot of this. And I hate to keep saying 3D, but for the sake of it, a lot of these 3D elements, and some of that is just thinking about how we contracted to come here. And usually when we contract to come, it's something that happened in a past life that we're bringing back into this one. And you can't repeat those same things, right? You have to be able to work through them. And sometimes it's a test. I'm not going to say all the time it's a test, but I feel that people now are starting to have those awakenings, those ahas. They're also doing that deep soul, that deep rooted soul work. And it's helping people to be able to vibrate. So for instance, with me being able to do my soul work and the ascension that I'm doing, I'm now able to hold space for someone in a different way that I was able to 20 years ago. So yeah, I think that we're on the right path. I think that the masses are finally starting to wake up and we're seeing it more and more. And I'm hoping that, the collective, if you will, there will be this bigger awakening, within this next year. There's a lot going on right now that, we don't need to go into. We're all experiencing it. even aside of our personal lives, you know. But I think just with us working together collectively, it's helping too, you know. Just it's that, what I say, I'm the light bearer, right? Or the light keeper. I'm just igniting that flame or that light, and it's going to spread. It's contagious, you know. So
well, that's a good point. Having a team really, really is great. You support each other, the support the visions of what we're all here to do. And Nimesh, are you seeing a big picture here? I mean, in your process of the Akashic field and all that, are you?
Yeah, I mean, I have a view in terms of every soul that's here right now chose to be here and is part of whatever the planet's going through. And also, you know, if you think about it, the last 3 years, you know, 2020, all of us were in lockdown. I think that was a period where everybody had stuff coming up. Everybody had stuff coming up that needed to be healed. 2021 is really been about integrating that. And I really feel 2022 is about how we're going to shine our light. And it's like having this group of people who I feel that we guides, right? I feel that we can guide people to their answer. I feel we, you know, I've had a few BK sessions with Bridget and with Britt, and the message is really consistent that we're here as to guide people. We're not here to fix people. We're not here to force people, but we're here to help them realize they have a choice. We all have a choice, right? We all have free will. And I really feel we're always going to work on ourselves, right? We're always students. We're always growing. There's always stuff that we need to hear. We need to heal. But actually, as we heal others. And as we share our knowledge, I think we guide people to help them to understand, you know, why they're here to do. You know, what's your purpose? How are you going to shine your light? And I think this year, everyone's going to be kind of thinking about how we're all here to serve. How are you going to shine your light? Because we're all going through so much. Because again, I feel that as souls, we chose to heal our ancestral karma as well as our personal karma. So it means the next generation comes in cleaner and they can really concentrate on raising the consciousness of the planet. So I think we contracted to do a lot in this lifetime. We chose to as souls. And I'm excited about this year. I think it's going to be different. I think it's going to be really all about shining a light. And what does that look like? So,
well, what does that look like for you? How does it look like for you as a
yeah, I mean, at the end of last year, I realized, I mean, I was on Clubhouse. I was, you know, I've got a podcast. I was recording podcasts, and I thought I was doing loads. But actually, when I thought about it, when I really sat with myself, I realized I'm still playing safe. I'm not being seen as much as I should. And my co-mods sometimes remind me that I'm a bit quiet in the room sometimes. It is late for me. I mean, it's 2, 3 a.m. But you know, but no, I'm going to show up much more. I'm going to record more podcasts. The downloads I get from one BQH is also that we need to be on multi-platforms. So being on YouTube, for example, Alan gave us the opportunity. Right. Gives us an opportunity to be seen by many, many more people. Clubhouse is great to reach a certain community where we find like-minded people to work with. But other platforms like YouTube gives us a much more wider audience where we can share this type of message. And that's really what my plan for this year is really to be more seen, to share my voice, to share what I've learned with as many people as I can.
Well, not to put you on the spot, but what thing do you dare to say? Like, what, you know, because I get you get a lot of downloads, and what have you not shared that you really feel like it's time to share? If you know.
Wow,
what I mean.
That is putting me on the spot.
I feel Sidra in Alan's energy. So, Alan, do you feel Sidra? Nimesh's guide that was his friend that he talked about earlier that is no longer in the body. I feel her in your energy right now.
Oh, that's probably why I asked the question. I think so.
She puts the fire on him.
Yeah, she's been around me a lot. And really, like I said, I've been playing safe, so I need to show up. I need to show up and be seen. I need to be, in terms of a message, I think I've already said it. I think we're here to shine a light. I think we're all here to truly challenge why we're here. What are we going to do? Because I think, you know, playing safe isn't going to be an option anymore. Ancestrally, I think we've got to fix that stuff. And our souls, and I know my higher self, and Sidra is my guide, he's going to continue to kick my ass to make sure that I show up. Sorry for part of the language, but, you know, just really, I need to show up and I need to shine my light. And, you know, like all the downloads I get from various sources, including the BQH, just say that we're here as a collective. We have a role to play. Yeah, and this family has a role to play to really do much more than we do. And I think the Clubhouse is great. We have a community there, but what else are we going to do? show up on YouTube, show up on different platforms.
Yeah.
I think that's what this year is really about, is how are we going to guide more people?
Yeah.
And Bridget's done a great job of showing up in different platforms, and she's kind of really pushing us to do more. And I think that's what we've got to do this year, is really, really be showing up all the time. And because we have collectively, you heard from us, we're in different places, and
Yeah.
the rest of the mods are from in the US, but we're in different locations. We bring different things, but as a collective, we're super powerful. And how
Yeah.
are we going to use that to truly raise and truly share our knowledge? And because collectively, we're even stronger than we are individually.
Exactly.
That's what I think this year is about. And Alan, thank you for giving us this opportunity, because that's beautiful that you're giving us that opportunity.
Well, we're all in this together. We're all here to support each other's evolution, the planet. And, I think the future is an unknown, and we do have to kind of drop into a deeper part of ourselves to be more creative, more expressive, and bring out, that's what I'm looking for, bringing out a deeper awareness. People are in touch with ETs, and I feel them floating around, but I feel like I really want that solid connection, and it's here and it's not there, but I think collectively there's a mind of consciousness that's awakening in humanity now. That's about a new time. I feel that. What do you think, Denton? How are we doing?
Absolutely. I agree. I think everybody has been in the process of awakening and the past, couple of years. And I think personally that journey since awakening has been a process of healing and transformation and shadow work, like Faye was saying. And like Sonia mentioned, like breaking the programming that you grew up with. And for me, I think, yes, I had a lot of external programming, but shedding my internal programming, because I was so good at conditioning myself to repress who I was, repress all of my differences, and to conform. And I think 22 and beyond is about really, standing in my power, spreading my wings. I'm no more holding back. What do I have to lose? Stepping into the light. And all of us get to do that collectively as moderators and Awaken Ascending, not only on Clubhouse, but beyond. Being on this on YouTube tonight with you, Alan, is all of us stepping out into the spotlight and spreading our wings and flying. And I'm just happy to be here and to be in that way, living to hopefully our highest purpose and why we're all here.
So Bridget, where are the themes? Where are the themes of what's coming up on Awaken Ascending? Like what thematic approaches do you take? Like where are you going collectively? I guess I could ask everyone that, but what's it look like this year, a whole new year, like a whole new territory to explore, right? So
yeah, so we kind of take the pulse. Clubhouse is like a micro of the macro, right? When you're on there are people from all over the world, and we kind of take the pulse in the rooms as we hold the rooms, and we have specific topics right now that we do on a monthly basis, surely because those rooms are really, they're very popular because they're of high service and people are curious about them, right? So one of the rooms that we do is the Akashic Records room that Nimesh brought up, right? Where he opens the records for the entire room and anyone who's watching the replays or listening to the replays. And he brings in messages from, the Akashic Records, but everyone's soul teams, right? Then we have another room that we do monthly that we teach people, remind people how to connect with their soul team. Specifically, we gear it toward the star beings within everyone's soul team. And when you can connect with them, you can connect with anyone on your team. So we're teaching people the 101. And if you're watching and you watch the Starseed Summit that Wish Alliance and Portal to Ascension and Alan was involved in, you'll hear me talking about that in there. But we actually do an experience in that room where and all of the soul teams are ready. Like, I megaphoned it out energetically a while ago. We planned it with my soul team and they all know. So when we're about to do that room, I'll have like so many soul teams like pop into my field, like waiting to connect with their people in a deeper way, right? So I'm like, okay, we're definitely doing that room tonight. Even if I don't know which room, I haven't looked at the schedule, I know by the end of the day that's the one we're doing. But really what we do is we just hold space and hold conversations. And really, I feel like, yes, all of us are teachers and guides, but it's more like we're helping people remember who they are, right? So I feel like we're teaching the teachers who are going to teach the teachers, and it's just going to be this evolution that continues on and on and on. And right now, in this particular moment in humanity's, evolution and consciousness, we are all in various stages of what ascension looks like and feels like, right? Because we're all having unique experiences. So, it could be that you are in the massive purge, right? Where you're peeling away the layers of the onion. So we have rooms for supporting that, right? For the people that are in the thick of that inner work and that shadow work. But we also have rooms for, people who are star-seeded and want to know and feel, supported by other star seeds, right? And to understand, what is it that I bring? What are my masteries that I'm bringing into the world to serve with? So we have rooms like that. And then we have rooms, just about connecting and talking about what I like to call star beings, because, saying interdimensional, extra-dimensional, ultra-dimensional, and extraterrestrial is a mouthful, right? So we have rooms about star beings. We have rooms with, Denton is doing shamanic journeying now. So we have things that run, the wide spectrum. And I feel like that's what we're going to keep doing on Clubhouse specifically because it supports, right? And we're all in unity. We've just forgotten that. And we're waking up to I am you and you are me. So supporting is what we do.
Well, maybe Nimesh could do a soul reading on this room and everyone watching, and then other people could jump in. I mean, just because I want to experience that.
Wow, yeah, let's do it.
All right. Okay, sure. Go for it. Yeah. What should we do?
No, not now, but yeah, for sure. I can open the records in a future room.
Yeah,
More
go
than
ahead.
happy to do it and shit. So we can schedule that for sure.
Up. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm not going to do it now. I'm not. So when I open the records, I'll always cleanse the space. I do a specific process. So it's not like something. I'll do a prayer to basically invite anyone that's listening, their guides, etc., and I'll share a message with the group. So there's a process I follow which I've not set up, but I'm happy to do it in the future for sure.
Okay, we'll do in the future. I mean, and anybody else work like that in a group? Brittany, do you work with a collective consciousness as well?
Oh yeah. I yeah, it's funny because I didn't fully understand who I have been communicating with my entire life up until, I don't know, like a couple years ago, I guess. And now it's just such a normal thing for me that I get all sorts of information from my guides. I communicate with people who have passed. I communicate with just straight up like energy. I pretty much everything. And so what's been fun for me is being able to figure out, okay, so this feels like this, or that person feels like that. And I'm very visual. I'm very clairvoyant. So a lot of the times I see like little movies playing, in my third eye, and I just am constantly receiving. So it's been honestly being home the past 2 years while we've been navigating through all this stuff has been amazing for me. I've had to shed a lot of stuff. I completely flipped my life upside down from what it used to be compared to now. I've just let the universe hold me and carry me along. And yeah, I always fall back on the universe and trusting the universe and trusting that everything is happening to me for a reason and there's purpose. And I just try and roll with it the best that I can. So yeah,
Right.
Hopefully that answered your question.
It does, but you have a message now. I'm going to ask everyone that. I mean, there's a message for the people watching and for the collective. And
Yeah. So the message that I keep seeing over and over and over again is our guides are wanting to have a relationship with us. And they keep saying, ask and you will receive, so for people who maybe feel that they're not connected yet, well, they're there for you. You try to get a good connection with at least one of them and just start talking to them, acknowledge them, and you will start to receive, and you'll know because it comes in all different forms. You can be thinking of something and think, oh, okay, I need an answer to this. And then 10 minutes later, you're in the car and a song comes on the radio and it's exactly what you needed to hear based upon, the answer you need. So there's little things like that, but it's following and paying more attention, being more aware of certain things like that to receive. A lot of times for me, I receive my dreams too. So for those of you who have very vivid dreams, that's also a way to receive information from your guides. But yeah, asking, that's been the huge thing. I think I just said that the other day in one of our rooms. That just keeps coming up. They want to communicate. They want to be here. So they are excited and ready. That is my message.
right. What about you, Sonia? Do you have a message from your guide?
Yes. It's so interesting that you asked this question because I was on a walk yesterday and I was walking by myself and I just started hearing this channeled message. And when I channel, it's easier for me to speak it out loud. And so I have my headphones in and I was just talking. And this is what they said. I'm going to paraphrase. And I apologize if I'm talking with my eyes closed, but this is the best way for me to tap into that energy. And it started with this. You ask us what your purpose is here on earth, and you keep seeking answers. But we have reminded you over and over again that you have free will and that you have a choice. And you ask, what are those choices? What are you here to do? You have the choice of experiencing moments in your life, of going and being with your friends, spending time in nature. You have the choice of sensing and feeling into your emotions, whether it's joy or sadness, curiosity, pain, or even suffering. That too is a choice. You also have the choice of being present here in this moment, of being still and being an observer to all of the things that are happening around you. You ask us why you are here. You are here to do whatever brings you joy or whatever it is that you choose to experience in this moment. Yes, you do have a purpose, and that purpose is to be you in your own skin, in your own authenticity, in your own beingness. This choice is your gift. You can choose to be anyone you want to be. You can choose to do anything you want to do. You can choose to be anywhere and experience any activity with any other individual, with us on the other side, or you can choose to simply exist. That choice is yours. And we are here to remind you that that is all you need to do. You do not need to go out of your way to do something that feels uncomfortable. But yes, it is uncomfortable to break down barriers, to break down anything that is holding you back. Yes, it's painful, but the choice is always yours. And we want to remind you that this is your truth. We are here to guide you. We are here to support you. You all have a soul family. You all have a soul team. There are pods of beings here on earth awaiting to connect with you, awaiting to support and guide you. You are doing the best that you can, and we support you. And that is all I have for now.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. I'm going to just absorb that for a moment. Thank you. What about you, Faye? Do you have a message, a collective, a tapping in?
Yeah, my guides are very like straightforward and to the point. They usually don't like butter anything up. It's just like this is it. So yeah, they don't have like a lot of humor or anything with them, but they mean the best. So when I receive messages, sometimes I get them as a picture. Sometimes I hear them. Sometimes I feel it. And the one thing that has been that needs to be shared is that, you know, we're always looking for answers within the universe. We're always asking questions for the universe, but what we need to understand is the universe is also inside of us. And that's something that they are screaming. We have to start looking within. All the answers that we want, yes, we can find them externally, but we can also find them inside of ourselves. So it is time to start tapping in to ourselves, to getting to know ourselves, to working on ourselves, to loving ourselves. And when you start to love yourself, trust me, okay? Everything that you want to know, all these answers, they will start pouring in. Why? Because you are now opening up that line of communication. Because you're not closed off. You're ready to receive it, right? Usually we're just giving, but we're not receiving. So when you have that line, that is a clear connection where you can give and you can receive, those answers will come through. So the collective wants everyone to know for sure. Yes, you can get the answers from outside, but you can definitely get them from within. So love and blessings to you all. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. How about Bridget? I know you always have a message from some level.
Yes. So what's been coming through, it's so funny when you started talking about messages that like multiple beings are talking at this point. The message that's coming through right now is we have been exploring and expressing with a very limited vantage so far. And we are now clearing space and making room for a much broader human experience. So where we have been holding ourselves in suffering, holding ourselves in bondage, if the focus is releasing that so that we can expand into what the next level human experience is going to be. And we have all come here from all over, outside of the Earth experience, the Earth school, as my team calls it. They say that every single person on the planet, our soul is a master, that this is like a master program is what they're saying right now. And they often show me that we have trained lifetime upon lifetime upon lifetime, not only within the Earth experience itself, but also far beyond in places and in expressions that we probably, it's more than our wildest imagination can come up with. And we bring those masteries into the human Earth experience. And that is what we are awakening to within ourselves. So it's our specializations, right? Our geniuses that we have perfected in a way that isn't like limiting, right? And we're bringing that in this period of humanity's timeline, right? So that we can assist one another. And we're dropping the illusions that we've been playing with for such a long time, the illusion of separation, the veils of forgetting. We're lifting those veils, and we are really bringing more of our soul into the human experience, and our soul is infinite, right? So they're bringing through the infinite nature again. I'm seeing there's a lot of symbols for that, but the way they show me is like an energetic infinity symbol that actually forms into galaxies that form into more galaxies and more galaxies, and then it just keeps going, almost like those house of mirror things. So that's what I'm seeing right now, that we are infinite. And it really, they're bringing in the message, remember who you are. And that message, anyone who has even tapped in remotely in any way, shape, or form, you're going to hear this message. It's ringing from all of the dimensions above ours. Remember who you are. And it's pointed to Earth right now. And the thing that's interesting about that is it doesn't take much, right? It doesn't take much to get a glimpse. It just takes getting out of our own way and releasing the things that we've adopted into ourselves and called us that aren't serving us anymore. A lot of people are in really interesting, intensities right now. The dualistic intensities are very, very high, and they're very vast right now. And really, it's allowing ourselves to peel away the layers, right? But also come into that neutrality or higher within ourselves. It's not saying to not ever have anger, but within this human experience, there are ways to have the emotions that we have. Okay. I know I'm all over the place. It's because I have three people talking to me right
fine.
now.
It's good.
I'm like, I just told them to get it together and pick a spokesperson. One person's talking about very human stuff, and another person is talking about very galactic, like extra dimensional, ultra dimensional stuff at the same time. And I'm like, pick a spokesperson. So essentially what's happening is they're trying to show us that within ourselves, we are the micro. So what we have going on with the emotions, learning how to feel our emotions and have it move through us, while also, remembering that we can have an emotion and not spray it on everyone else around us, like learning very positive energetic hygiene on all aspects, but also looking within for those threads of things that we're seeing in a collective way that don't serve us, and finding them within ourselves and allowing them to be transmuted, healed, and stepped beyond. I've switched. Yeah.
No, I think we need to do that because the ETs we're meeting have a different emotional body than we do. So
some of them don't have one.
Yeah, they don't engage reality the same way that we do. They don't relate on that kind of feeling level, but I think that's part of what we can teach them as well, because I think feeling is the language of the higher mind, of the ascended being. I think it comes down to feeling. So we're just waking up.
We're moving into the heart.
Yes.
The heart is where the reason they're bringing up the feelings and how it relates to our multidimensionality is that, we've kind of been putting ourselves in little boxes, right? And what they're showing is it's time to unpack the boxes and really take, stock as to what we want to play with. We don't have to do something the way it's been done just because it's been done that way for, the entirety of humanity's evolution, right? And those serve as keys to unlock our multidimensionality and our connection with them. They're kind of bringing it together a little bit now, because I was like, we're all over the place with this channel. Can we please get a spokesperson?
It was perfect. It was fine. It was fine. What about you, Denton? Do you have a message for the crowd group here?
Sure. So this is a friendly reminder that we are all vibrational beings, and encouraging us to do things that raise our vibrations, to sit in stillness 5 to 10 minutes every day, to spend time in nature, to follow your passions, whether that be writing or art or baking or whatever brings you joy, and to see every encounter with every human being as an opportunity to shine, to share your heart, even if it's just a smile to the person you're passing on the street, and raise their vibration, then in the process, raise your own.
Yes, that is awake and ascending. If we could do that every minute of that interaction. So where should we all go together? Where are we awakening and ascending to? What's like the next level of this collective evolution, that the journey that we're on? I mean, anybody have any like inspiration for some new directions? Like, do you want to do like workshops, like live workshops, awaken ascending workshop? Yeah, talk about that, Brittany.
when the world opens back up for real, I know we all would love to have little retreats where it's just a beautiful wellness, like let's get together for a long weekend and just do all the things that bring us joy and learn and grow. And oh my gosh, I have like in my mind, I'm just seeing all these amazing things with a ton of people that we all just feel like we're as one. And honestly, we are so powerful, even just on these videos, we are so powerful. But when we are in person, holy cow, like the amount of energy that just radiates from everyone, that's contagious too. So I think the more that we can get together and do things like that, oh, I cannot wait. I seriously am so excited. So yeah, that's where I stand with it all.
Do other people see that too? Sonia, do you see that for your?
I've already started traveling. I'm meeting people from Clubhouse left and right. I've spent time in Sedona. I've spent time in Mount Shasta, meeting people in real life and just doing some of these things that Britt's talking about. And it's phenomenal. And I can't wait for, everything to open up again so that we can do this properly and in a very safe manner. So yes, I'm 100% behind all of that.
I'm going to be in Sedona. Maybe I'll see you there in March.
Yes, that would be great.
Yes. And Faye, you're on the East Coast, right, Faye? Aren't you like local here? Faye.
I am sorry about that. I'm a little technically challenged. No, I'm on the West Coast.
You're on the West Coast.
Yes, I'm in the Bay Area. Yeah. Cali girl here. So yeah, I would love, so we have been discussing this group of doing some things together. Individually, I think we all, have some idea of where we would like to go. I would, and I'm speaking for the group, love for us to do something, maybe have some kind of big conference or like a symposium, some type of workshop where we can all come together because we all bring something a little different to the table, but it meshes so well, we just it's no other way to say it really than we mesh really well together. So I'm hoping in the near future, I would just say stay tuned, everyone, that you will see something from us soon enough. We're in the development phase, so just stay tuned. So yeah, but
right.
Personally, I am working on a couple of endeavors as well. So I would just say stay tuned for that. It'll be for the ladies. And sorry, fellas, something will come for you in the near future. But right now I'm working on some women empowerment type of things. So I'll keep you all abreast on that as well.
Thank you. And Nimesh, are you going to start teaching your Akashic reading records and all that?
Yeah, that's definitely something I want to do. I feel actually anyone that channels in any way actually connects to the records. But sometimes we need to give a label to it. And sure, I definitely want to teach people how to connect to the records. I definitely want to teach people how, because it's such a beautiful process when I connect to someone else's guides and someone else's records. It's such a light process. So yeah, I'm definitely planning on teaching it. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to work with this group. As Faye said, we bring something so different. And I'm sure I'd love to do in-person events, even though I'm in London. We're starting to travel now.
You're in London? So, is that what you said?
Yeah, I'm in London. So,
okay. I might be in London at some point, but I'll look you up.
Yeah, let me know. Yeah, let me know for sure. And actually, so one of the things I was thinking that I missed earlier is just want to remind people that as we work out how we're going to shine our light, we have to remember to shine our light on us first, because we can only shine our light brightest if we shine our light on us first. So I guess I just wanted to remind people that make sure you shine the light on you first, because your light is so much stronger. And so many of us struggle to put ourselves first when actually at this time we have no choice. So, and I think reading through the records is a great way of doing that.
Right. So you were trained in how to read these records. Is that it?
Yeah. I mean, I did an online course, but actually I adjusted it to what works for me. So I do it different to what I was taught. And that's what I'll teach. But like I said, I think everyone has access to their own records. We sometimes give it a bit of process, and so I'm sure you've connected to your records. Anyone that channels, I'm sure connects to the records.
When you say records, do you mean the soul's memories? It's the soul's records, right?
Yeah, so Akashic Records is a record of everything your soul's been through. Every
Right.
soul contract, every past life, every, even any all parallel lives in this life, your soul
Right.
contracts for this life, everything is stored in the records.
Right.
So
That's what I get. Yeah.
yeah.
And we got access. We all have, it's right here. It's like
100%,
right there.
yeah, 100%. And we all, it's that we give it a label because it makes it easier for us to understand. But I believe everyone has connected with records in some kind of way. And I think, we get the information we need when we're ready to receive it in whatever way we're ready to receive it. So whether it's through a reading, whether it's through BQH, whether it's through an Akashic record, whether it's through your own download, our guides, and they're waiting for us to help. Our soul family are waiting for us to ask. And sometimes we need to ask and get the message through the records or whatever you want to call it. But it is just a record of everything that we've been through. And our souls have been around for a while, right? So
Only forever.
Infinite.
Exactly.
I think it'd be great if all of you came together and did a in-person workshop. That would be really powerful. That would
I think it would be so fun.
Yes. So what's coming up next for the Clubhouse, Bridget, and everything you guys are working together on? When's your next Clubhouse? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so when's our next Clubhouse room? Is that what you said? Our rooms are always Monday and Friday, right? So I don't know. I've been contemplating, I do beyond quantum healing hypnosis, right? So as well as awakening and ascension mentoring and multidimensional energy healing. And I've been contemplating, I know they would be really into it, doing a collective journey in rooms coming up, maybe starting like a February room with something like that. But I don't know if you know, like Sonia, Brittany, Faye, and I we all do a very, most of us but BQH, but Faye does QHHT, right? So we all provide, we're all like hypnosis people, right? So I think it's very interesting, the dynamic with it. But for Awake and Ascending, we haven't really had our first of the year meeting yet for this kind of thing. I think we all kind of know that we want to do, like Britt said, like retreats or something of that nature. But it's just a matter of showing up and serving right now. That's where we are with the Clubhouse, and bringing this to larger audiences to where we can help everyone share their codes, keys, and frequencies. Everyone has a piece of this puzzle, right? And my codes and keys and frequencies may serve as an activation for someone else, and vice versa, right? So we're all holding the pieces of the puzzle, right? We're all holding keys. And I feel like that's what Awaken Ascending does. We share our own codes, keys, and frequencies, but also we hold space for others to share theirs as well. And just to know that, you're not alone. There's so many people that are having similar experiences that share commonalities with what you're going through, and that you have a place to be supported and held and lifted up. And that's what we do in Awaken Ascending. And we're going to keep doing that. I know that, we've been talking about expanding in various ways, but we haven't really settled on anything just yet. But we'll let you know, Alan, as soon as we decide what the next step is outside of Clubhouse.
Okay, so every Wednesday you're meeting, you're saying?
We meet every Monday and every Friday at 4:30 Pacific, 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern, and 12:30 a.m. UK. Those are the time zones, the same time across all the time zones, every Monday and Friday. And we're opening, we're starting this month with a Wednesday afternoon room to see how that goes, to see if we've been receiving requests from people outside of the United States for earlier rooms so they can take part. And Brittany is hosting that this year, or most of the year.
Each of you give private sessions, of course, like you were saying. So, and it's great that you've all come together, because I think we have more power when we come together. So this has been great to kind of get to know each person here, see them in the almost flesh. You know, it's different than being a disembodied voice. You know, it's more
Talking head.
Yeah, it's more substantial. Like I feel people's more because you see their expression on their face, and it's just a whole other dimension to connecting, is to feel people, look at their faces. And then when we finally meet again in person, that's a whole other level. So
Yes.
so maybe
It's gonna
that
be so
will
fun.
happen. Okay, so just to wrap up here, any final words from anybody that, you know, as we blast off into the future, anything to channel, Sonia, for the future? I mean, you sort of said it before, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm complete for now. Maybe next
Okay.
time.
Sonia's complete. And Faye, are you complete, or you want to add?
I'm usually always complete, but just spread the love, be love, spread love, give love, just vibrate in love. That's all I have. So thank you for having me, Ellen.
Of course, of course. It's always good to meet old friends, new friends. Brittany, what about you? Any cosmic messages?
I don't think so. I'm so thankful that you had us, Ellen. So thank you. And I hope we can do this again in the future.
Oh, definitely. Yes. You know, I do want to support these groups and get the message out, because I feel, you know, it's another platform, reaches different, you know, populations, and they can all come back into Clubhouse or spread out. And how about you, Denton? Any last final closing?
I would just leave everyone with the message of chase after your dreams, that there's a reason you have them, and
that's good. Chase after your dreams. Thank
they
you.
are worth pursuing. Yes.
Thank you. Don't give up on your dreams. Yes. Yeah. Namesh, too. What about you? Anything you want to leave us with?
No, just to say thank you for giving us this platform. Also, I think you probably pushed us a little bit to think about what are we going to do next. So, and we've talked about coming on YouTube. I mean, we've talked about coming on YouTube. We've talked about setting Zoom stuff up, and we talked about in person. But I think in many ways you probably challenged us a little bit. So thank you for that.
Okay, we could do this once a month or whatever. Let's work it out, Bridget. Let's see how often do
That'd be so fun.
Plan out courses, like themes, like I'm sure you have, right? So Bridget, where are we now? Where does this lead of us all now? What's your vision of the future?
Well, I feel like 2022 is a lot of new beginnings for a lot of people. I've been feeling that new energy. There are probably people that are going to be dragged into the new beginning. I can feel a lot of the resistance, and a message that's coming through right now is releasing resistance and attachment enables the shifts to happen much more smoothly. So they're showing everyone just kind of going, okay, we are moving into the next step, whatever that is for each of us in our unique journey, right? So 2022 is about allowing the old to fall away and stepping with passion and excitement into the new, and curiosity they're bringing through right now. So that's what I see happening. You know, it's not, the energy is slightly different than 2021 when it comes to the personal energetics that I'm tapping into for the collective, but there's still going to be, you know, a large amount of people that are still peeling away the layers. And what I would say as a personal message to any of you who are peeling away the layers of things that no longer fit for you anymore is to really take a moment once you've done a little bit of that and appreciate how much lighter you feel, how much brighter you are, and how things within your external reality begin to shift in a way that supports you. We get to choose grace, ease, and flow. Everything can be easier, but it's a decision that we make, and then we have to really, you know, reimagine the belief system that isn't supporting that, right? So if you're wanting an easier journey, choose it. in each now moment and allow the things that come up to, to filter into your awareness so that you can say, is this who I'm choosing to be now? If not, what am I going, what will serve this in the highest, right? So heal it, honor it for what it has taught you leading to where you are now about who you are, and then let it go. Move into your
Right.
next you.
Wow, this is good. I've gotten a lot out of this dialogue personally, reminders of my own process. So thank you everybody for being here on New Realities, and we're all awakening and ascending. And I think this is a good way to start the new year, just with reminders of who we are, why we're here, and our collective mission. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Bridget, for putting
Thank
it
you,
together.
Alan.
And we'll do it again.
Thank
you very much, Alan. We love
And it's
you.
been a great
Thank you,
dialogue.
Alan.
Thank you. Also, if you look on the New Realities chat, there's some great people commenting, lots of interesting comments. Thanks for the great message. Sonia, thanks. You are connected. Thanks for the time. Anyway, there's been some good chats going on there. So thanks again, and we will do it again. All right.
Yes, thank you. Blessings, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye. Thank you.
We'll see you
Thank
next
you,
time.
bye.
We
Bye,
love you,
Alan.
Alan.
Thank you,
everyone.
guys.
you.
Love and light.
Bye.
Thank you.
Blessings.
Bye.
Meet everybody.
Let's do this again soon.